Hello, my dear students. How are you doing? I hope everyone is doing so well. So, welcome back to a new science lesson. For today, we will do a brief review about the previous class, animals and their habitats, and we talked about this topic in our classroom. So, this is gonna be like a review for you. So, listen to me carefully. Animals and their habitats. Okay, let's get started. The key points in the lesson: animals live in different types of habitats. The animals that are adapted better to their environment will survive and grow. And guys, also yesterday we talked about the different types of habitat. We said that we have different types of habitat or environment. Also, we have different types of animals. So we have Arctic animals, or we can say polar, desert, forest, ocean. There are different environments and also different animals. Also, we have this example, which camel. A camel is one of those animals who live in the desert. Camels has adapted to its habitat. Let's talk about camels more. Camels have long eyelashes to protect the eyes from the sun. Also, they have tough mouths for eating spiky plants. Also, let's see, they have hump for storing food, and long legs and padded feet for walking on the sand. So they are adapted to their habitat. We cannot bring a camel and take it in a polar environment or a polar habitat, because they are adapted to their habitat. Now, the second example is Arctic as a habitat. Polar bear live in Arctic. The Arctic is a cold habitat, and polar bears have adapted to that cold environment, as we can see from the picture. And let's look at its body. So they have sharp teeth and warm fur and big claws, and also the white fur, as you can see, its color is white, to hide in the snow. It tells us by these two examples we can understand that different types of animals live in different types of environment or habitats. Understand that animals' bodies are adapted to the type of habitat they live in. Okay, animals' bodies, even their bodies, they are adapted to the type of habitat they live in. So we are done with reviewing. Now we will go to today's new topic. Okay, my lovelies, it was a brief review about the previous class. So today's main topic is what's the food chain. Please everyone go and bring your science book and go to page 56. On your book, it's on page 56. So what's the food chain? What's the food chain? I want you to think about for a second what we mean by a food chain. Okay, so all living things need energy, guys, to live, and they get this energy from what? From the food that we eat. Every one of us, we need energy to live, right? So we get the energy from the food that we are eating, the way how we get food, okay, my dears, or the way how we get energy. Also, it is the same for animals. So in this lesson we will be talking about how animals get their food from plants or from other animals. Okay, so a food chain describes how different organisms eat each other, starting out with a plant and ending with an animals. So a food chain again shows how animals get their food from plants and from other animals. So different types of organisms, how they get their food. Is it from different types of plants or it's from animals? So for understanding this, I have the word producer. Okay, dears, let's see what we mean by producer. Plants can make their own food. They can use energy from the sun, so they make their own food. That's why all plants are called producers. We have the word producers on keywords on your book. We have these words that in this topic you are going to learn. These words, they are very important. Everyone, you should write it down on your notebook, on your science notebook, because these words are really important. So the word for which type of living things? Of course for plants, because they make their own food. They can use energy from the sun. By now, everyone knows what we mean by producers. Okay, let's see. So we said that living things means human, animals, and plants. Now plants are producers because they make their foods. Okay, the role of producer. When we say producers, plants are producers. Why? Because they use light energy from the sun to produce food, sugar from the process that's not included for you, but the process name is photosynthesis. Okay, let's see. Consumer. What we mean by the word consume means eat. Animals cannot make their own food. Animals are consumer. A consumer is a living things that eats other living things. When we say other living things, we mean plants and also animals. So some animals eat another animals, some animals eat different types of plants. So consumers are grouped by what they eat. Do they eat other animals or plants? Let's see. So the word consumer means eat. The word consumer means to eat. So animals, they cannot make their own food, so they eat other animals or plants. Okay, now consumers are grouped into three different parts. When we say consumer, that we eat other plants or other animals, we have three types of it. The first one is called carnivore. Okay, herbivore, and omnivore. Okay, we have these three types of consumer: carnivore, herbivore, and omnivore. Guys, these three words is very important. Okay, what we mean by carnivores? I told you guys some of the animals they eat other animals. So an organism that only eats animals or meat, it's called carnivore. Okay, how about herbivore? An organism that eats only plants, or that only eats plants. Okay, they are called herbivore, means they only eat plants. How about if you have an organism that eats both plants and also animals? We call them omnivores. This is the same. Herbivore means those animals that they eat plants. Carnivore, those animals that they eat meat, other animals. And omnivore, those organisms that they eat both animals and also fruits, also plants. Okay, and the definition of these three words is here, and it's very clear on your book. Plants are called producers because they can produce their own food. Animals that eat plants are called herbivore. Animals that eat other animals are called carnivores. Animals that eat plants and animals are called omnivores. So please, everyone, try to highlight this part. It's very important. Okay, highlight this part for me, and also these words on your book. Okay, now let's go to the next slide. Okay, again, animals that eat other animals are called what? Carnivores. Animals that eat plants and other animals are called omnivores. And animals that eat plants, only plants, it's called herbivores. Okay, now, okay, by this we understand feeding relationship can be shown as a food chain. When we say food chain, please everyone look at this chain. It's a kind of chain, right? When we say food chains, mean it's a feeding relationship. This poor animals eat what? Eat the plants, and also the animals, this one consumer. Why? Because it cannot make its own food, so it eats what? Different types of plants. How about this one? This one is called the secondary consumer because it is going to eat this one. It's going to the primary consumer. And the food chain always start from what? Every time when we say food chain, it starts from plants. The first thing we have plants, then animals. Okay, so we understand this. This is called producer. It's very important. This is called producer, and we said that animals that eat plants are called herbivores. So this one is herbivore. How about those animals that they eat other animals? They are called carnivore. So here we have producer, we have herbivore, and also we have carnivore. It's very clear. And if you have a question, my dears, please write it down on your book or on your notebook, so ask me later. Okay, this is again, we have food chain. So the arrows shows how energy and food is passed along the chain, from the grass and all this one. So it's very clear. I hope you all got what we mean by food chain, and please every time go to your book and make sure to read each of these sentences. They are all important. And plants again, what does the bird wants to do? The bird wants to eat the poor animals, the rabbit. So we are almost done for today. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and please study on your book, page 56. I want you to write the important points and highlight the important points on your notebook. So if you have a question again, please ask me. Have a good time. Bye bye.